more stuff printed.
Hi.
Good morning. It's
Oh,
not Tuesday.
Really high today, isn't it? Or I'm really low. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Oh, that's the stuff I printed last night.
Oh, sorry. I did just grab everything.
It's all good.
Okay. It is July's digital dealer exclusive.
It is.
And there's
a
bonus. So we're gonna start with the bonus because we're hoping to have a little movie magic done while we're stitching on this one because there's a second part. So
There's a second part and there's 2 projects. So
yes. Yeah.
between
So
between
lots of
both
stuff.
of those things, it would be a longer day.
It would be a really long
We're going
day.
to try to move things along a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So the bonus project is super cute.
They are very cute.
I actually really like this type of project, and we were just talking right before we went live, and I'm not sure. I feel like maybe the older ones are discontinued, but maybe there's a newer one that's not.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. So it's a cinch sack, and you get 2 different designs in the bonus, and it is Christmas themed. So you get either the bag of coal or you get a Santa's mail little drawstring piece. And so this is done in just a 5x7 hoop. It's a great, cute little bag stuffer, quick gift thing. And I just think they're so darling. And just like anything else, you could put anything on the front of this. So once you have the base design, you could make whatever kind of bag you want.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
super, super cute. So at the moment, we have standard bobbin in. And I left the white thread up there just so that we can see where that is at the moment. But I think that's going to be the first color that we need as well with that glitter. So
we're doing the bag of coal.
I am going to do the bag of coal because that sounds like fun.
Yes.
So I have
Prepping our Christmas
our
gifts.
Christmas gifts because that's what my husband gets. It's been a big running joke for a long time that he always gets coal for Christmas. So I think that sounds like a lot of fun. So we're going to get that started. We have no show mesh, and again, it's just in a 5x7 hoop. So this is a non-fusible. You don't need a fuse. So this is, I think, one of the first things I ever made with Kim at an event.
And you were like, what?
And I was like, you want me to do what? So
What?
the very first thing that we're going to do is stitch a line up at the top of the hoop. And it's a cut line.
It is.
So unlike our other cut lines, this is our stabilizer cut
Yes.
line. So the very first thing that we're going to do is degrade the quality of our stabilizer.
Yeah.
Wait, what? So it's a little bit nerve-wracking, right? And it makes you a little bit, you want to, because that's kind of defeats the whole purpose, right? But it works. And I have never had one of these not work because of this. So you don't have to worry about that.
No.
So I did put that in white. Like I said, my first thing that I'm going to see is a white glitter stitch. So you can't see that super well, but just enough in there. So I'm going to literally cut my stabilizer right on that line. And in your instructions, it's actually going to tell you, you want to go a little bit past that line. So it's giving you basically as far as it can stitch, but you need to go a little bit past that so that your fabric will fit through that line. So you can use whichever scissors work best for you. And you want to cut directly on that line. So get it started somewhere and then just cut directly on that. And again, you're going to go approximately a 1/2 inch past on both sides. And you do have to cut through that knot, which is going to fight you just a little bit, right? Which is okay. So sorry, pardon me. And do we have pictures for this one? We don't, right? It's pictures for the other one, which I don't have. I just have the
Pictures?
big.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Do you need these?
No.
Okay. I didn't know how many times you've done this.
A couple times.
Couple, once,
Yeah.
twice. So I am so good at that. All right, so stitch number 2 is going to show our fabric placement. So again, we are just going to have that cut, and now we're going to have a fabric placement. Yeah, we're low.
We are
A lot
really
of
low.
headspace up there.
I really wonder how badly I messed that up.
My concern is that you were doing part 2. Don't you usually have to do part 1 first?
They get combined in the hoop.
Oh, okay.
So that's why there literally is like 2 full hoopings.
Okay.
You're quilting the top piece and then you're quilting the bottom piece and then they're getting put together.
Okay.
Which is why I started.
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
I knew we were going to need more pieces.
Gotcha. I obviously haven't read those instructions at all.
Right, but I
So-
get what you're saying. Like, are we going to need to put it in there? But it'll be in that hoop there, so we won't take it out.
I got you. We'll do another hoop.
And then if
And then
we
put
need
those on top of
if
that.
we need to, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because we can line it up. But
Absolutely. Can you put me over here?
I can.
So in prep for this, your pieces of fabric need to be cut and then folded in half. So you've got a long piece that we're going to press so that you have a nice press line. You're going to have a backing piece and you're going to have a front piece. Your front piece also needs to have fusible put on where you're going to be embroidering. So at this point, we are going to take and place the piece that has the fusible backing, and that is going to be the area that goes right on the top here. And I'm going to set my glitter aside along with my back piece. And we are going to align that fold of this fabric with the fold cut line that we have up there. And of course, they want you to tape that in place. Now, you guys know I don't generally do a lot of tape, but because we have cut stabilizer, we don't want that fabric to shift. So we actually do need to make sure that that stays right at that fold line. So what I generally do, and I'm going to spin this so I can actually see what I'm doing, is I fold it back. I place it so that it is on that line. And then I open it up. Excuse me. And then I tape that to my hoop. Seems like I'm a little left. Let's recenter. One more time. So eventually we are going to need to put this through the cut that we made. So try to balance your fabric right and left as well. Make sure that you are still on that fold line there. And then tape that down. All right.
I did do something wrong.
Good morning.
It'll be okay.
All right, so we now have our piece taped in position. And again, the fold that we pressed into it should be right along the line that we cut. And that is going to be basically folded over after we've done some stitching. But we do want to tape that fabric in place because we're going to be stitching onto it at this point. So now we have
Hey, Karen,
everything taped.
don't put the bottom on the other one. Just let it stitch through. Okay.
And then we're going to now tack this one.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
We're going to tack this down to the stabilizer in position. So here we go. This is color number 3. And again, we're doing the bonus design and I'm doing the coal, the bag of coal.
I was doing part 1. Just
Okay.
I was like, did I do part 2?
You were reading the part 2 instructions and that's why I was like,
Yeah, part 1 is that piece.
Gotcha,
Part
okay.
2 is the one with the zipper.
Oh, good.
I'm like, I know I scanned it, but then I was like really paranoid. So
Okay. And now it's going to do what they call a basting line across the top there, which is definitely bigger than their other line, but I'd like it to be a little bigger than it is because we're going to want to take that out later. But it is at least better than...
Yeah, you can't really see the basting line, but it is up there.
It is up there. It's there to keep everything nice and flat on your stabilizer, especially since we put that cut in there. We don't want it flopping around up there.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to remove that later. So it is definitely a larger stitch line than these tack down lines are down here. But
yeah.
All right, so once we have our fabric tacked, we're now going to start working on the actual embroidery portion. So we have some beautiful glitter that we're going to put in there. It's a very large piece.
Glitter. So much glitter.
A little bit of sparkling in your morning. And we're going to do the placement line for that. So again, that is white glitter, so I'm sticking with my white thread. And this is going to be the placement line for that.
Making sure it doesn't rip.
I have ripped it before. So your glitter piece has the plastic top. We want to remove that. I have gotten a little exuberant in my removal of that plastic and, just kind of whipped it up. And I've actually ripped when it had a larger piece. So don't rip too fast, but I mean, you don't have to go quite as slow as I'm going, but do be careful. You don't want to rip it because you only have the one and you will need most of that. So we're going to completely cover up that placement line and we're going to tack that down. Now you could do this in a pop of color if you wanted to, but this is your final stitch. This is a raw edge. So make sure that you have whatever color you want. You will see it. There's nothing that's going to cover it. It likes to pucker, doesn't it?
It does. It's a big piece.
Excuse me. Keep that. All right, so at this point, we would need to trim around that, which you can certainly do. Sarah over here taught us that we can also rip. Would you like to rip?
Sure.
So we're gonna just pull. You don't wanna, again, be too exuberant in what you're doing and rip past your stitch line, but you can rip right at those stitches. Generally, is it too big?
No, I don't, it's the stabilizer is flimsy.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make sure
Not pulling it out of the hoop?
not pulling it out of the hoop would be a bad thing.
That would not be a fun thing. You are not wrong.
And then we are going to fuse this down. Oops.
We are.
That's okay.
I can trim anywhere that's, don't worry about it. I'll go back in.
Okay. That's pretty sloppy. I'm sorry.
Oh my Lord.
It's hard to get good help.
I was trying to give you some stress relief over there.
I know, right? It's the stabilizer is just a little flimsy.
It's a little bit flimsy. So
at the tip.
I'm just going to get right up. Maybe. Nope.
There we go. We can use a little piece of tweezers later.
Yeah, but I don't want to fuse it. And not be able to get it off later either. Got a little thread down there. since we're fusing, of course, we don't want permanents. So I'm just cleaning up a couple little spots that weren't rip friendly. I think that looks pretty good.
Yep.
So I'm going to come over here. Now, in case you have not done this before, don't have scraps on there because they will also fuse. You don't want you to put your iron directly on the glitter. So this is the plastic that I took off. I'm just going to completely cover that up. It works as a great barrier. You could also use another piece of fabric or whatever you have as a pressing cloth, you know, ripstop nylon, those kinds of things. But the piece of plastic that you took off is always going to be larger than whatever your piece of glitter is. So we're just going to give that a press, approximately 10 to 15 seconds. My piece is larger than my iron this time, so I am going to have to press twice. See if there's, not sure that still looks a little bubbly up at the top there. So what we're trying to do is to ensure that we have a nice smooth surface to embroider on, because we are going to be putting a lot of stitches right on top of that. So I am now going to peel this off. Doesn't feel like it got it really good, but we're gonna go forward.
Do you want to put the fabric on? Maybe it's just not, maybe the iron isn't hot enough through this.
Could try that.
It's also soft underneath it, so.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much it got. Feels hot.
But I mean, like, you can't press down because it's soft, right?
Yeah. Giving it a good. Ugh. Yeah, too soft of a surface underneath doesn't help. It's a little better. It's just got that bubble, air bubble in there. All right, we're gonna let that cool off before we stitch.
Okay.
All right, so we are now down to stitching onto that piece, which means this is no longer going to be of any use to us. So the next thing that we're going to do is stitch bag of, which is basically a running stitch. So I am going to change my bobbin and put in a black, or at least dark, not white, just in case I have some show through, so that I get a nice crisp running stitch. So while that glitter is cooling off, I'm just gonna do that.
And that's just one of the things that we kind of, the Kimberbell instructions are not specifically recommending that at this point, but we've just learned that sometimes your bobbin thread can pop out because you've got white underneath here. If your white thread popped through a little bit, it wouldn't be super noticeable because we've got white glitter in the background. It's just one of those things that sometimes when you have tiny letters.
Tiny letters, and what can a lot of times happen is you would get to where, like, instead of that straight line, you'd almost get like a candy cane look. Mm-hmm. You'd have a little bit of, so it's not necessarily the background that's going to be the problem, mm-hmm. but the actual show in the stitching itself. Right. And so that's what we're gonna prevent happening by putting that black bobbin in. So, and it's not just a Kimberbell thing, it's a font, a thin line font, mm-hmm. or even not generally running stitches. You don't usually see it with that, but in the fonts, for whatever reason, when it's just that thin line font, they just don't mm-hmm. stitch
Pops
super nice a lot of times. So of course I also probably want to put the right top thread in. So worried about my bobbin, I totally didn't do the top.
Debbie asked, we're just using the standard 5x7 hoop, so nothing super special about this one, which you should have with your baby lock flare or have available to you if for some reason you didn't get it. You should have, but.
Yep, should have come with that machine. All right, so black top thread and a black or dark bobbin. We're gonna stitch now right on that. You don't need a topper, so that's not going to really help any. If this was a leather, that would be different, but this doesn't need a topper. So now we're going to start these words. A really dark, like slate gray would also be really pretty, I think, with this. Bubble right there. Just didn't want to press.
You poke it with a needle, see if there's air underneath it.
Do that. No.
We have the little pins.
Got an extra loop on my letter.
The nerve.
The nerve of it. Didn't clean these this morning, and boy, are they a mess.
Do you want your water?
That would be lovely. Thank you. I love glitter. It's always a good day when you start it with glitter.
It is.
All good?
Yeah, you can take it out.
Okay, so now we are going to move on to coal, and that is also in black. So, as is the next color, and the next color, and the next color, and the next color, and you guys get the theme here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, except for the next color is not. It's white. It's the inner circle detail, right? Oh, the coal detail is down there on 13. Sorry.
It's okay.
I thought they were talking about, for some reason I read that as the inner
coal detail.
Yes.
They
So
were
close.
trying to help us not have to change thread.
Right. They were being nice.
They were being nice. They don't always do that.
No.
Sometimes it's like, yeah, we're gonna just throw in a random color change here.
Yeah.
Come fly with me. That song pops in my head every time I see that kit. Of course, I don't know all of the words, so it doesn't get me very far.
No.
No.
We need to press in 1/2 inch on some of our pieces of this.
Okay.
But that looks like the only...
I have an iron, so we can
have,
do that.
Yes, it looks like the only prep work that we have to do. There are lots of steps, though. Look at all those steps.
Whew. Are we doing 2 or 1?
We're just going to do one. I think we're going to do
Okay.
the cat one because that's
Okay.
going to be the one that's right.
Okay.
And then we can show them what not to do.
Okay.
I was right the first time. I didn't need the second piece.
Didn't need the other piece.
Because you put the lining on
After.
but they were reading it as backing, right? Which is why I was confused. So they meant the backing.
This is actually probably more helpful for them than if we get it right all the time.
Right, totally.
Because they're going to read it and think the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't stitch anything last night. I met my mom and kids for dinner when I left here. And then I went home and I did something. Oh, I went and sat on the deck and I talked to my other daughter for, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. And then I went inside and I took all my medicine and I put my pajamas on and I crawled into bed and I watched something. I don't remember what I watched. Oh, Sleepy Hollow. And then I went to bed, but I didn't fall asleep for a while, but I just went to bed. I said, I need sleep. And it still eluded me, but I tried. At least I was laying there.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still working on black, so I'm just gonna
Push the button again.
Push the button again. I'm good at pushing buttons. It's gonna be one of those days.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how my old cat is so strong, but oh my God, she's nearly killed David and I putting eardrops in. She's not happy.
Isn't it funny?
I'm like, how can she be so? I mean, she's like almost 19 years old. How can she be so strong? So we got like a kitty burrito, and she's still trying to get out of it. Right? She's growling.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my
I'm not
God.
exaggerating when I say that my littlest dog is the hardest to give the
For
haircut
sure.
or get the gunk out of their eyes or the. Oh man.
Yeah.
She's got something else. So this is going to be the little Santa word there. I think it's nice that they're all color stops because then if you wanted to add color somewhere, you could.
Yeah. Cynthia asked, can you do this in a 6x10 hoop? Of course you can.
Sure.
You can always do an embroidery project in
a
a
larger
hoop. You just have to, and in this instance, you're not hooping your fabric, so you don't have to worry about your fabric not being large enough to fit in the hoop.
Right.
You just need a little bit more stabilizer to fill your hoop. That is the most important thing that we can say is your stabilizer does need to fit, no matter what size.
Right, because you're starting with stabilizer only.
Your
so
stabilizer does need to
and
fill
it's got to
the
be
hoop.
in there, especially since we are cutting it at the very first step. It needs to be nice and tight so that it is working for the rest of
Absolutely.
everything else. So we've got Santa. Now we're going to stitch approved right across there. Couple more black color stops here, and then we will. Then we'll start doing something again.
Yes. Yeah, I have to give her these eardrops for 10 days, twice a day.
And this is day 3?
This is day
2.
like 2.5 if you count the first day, which I'm counting as a full day.
Call it, man. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, not a happy camper.
Yeah. My poor dog looks
You said
a little
butchered.
silly, but
What are you gonna do, right?
hey, she was covered in burr. She looks less silly cut than she did looking like she was ridden hard and put away wet with the hair just swinging. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. I'm looking at her, I'm like, what happened to you? She literally had like hairs going sideways off of her face, standing straight up. And she has multiple coats. I mean, like layers. They were all straight up on the top of her head. She had these little tiny little burrs stuck in the deep of the lowest layers where there's like multiple.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. There was no, I mean, I cut so that then I could pull some of it out.
Right.
You know, but oh my Lord, it was a mess. It was so bad. All right.
Yep.
And try again.
Try again.
And then one more.
2 more blacks.
I absolutely will. Absolutely. So Marilyn asked, she thinks these are just as cute as I do. And she asked if I would go over the ribbon insertion, and I definitely will. That is probably the hardest part, is getting the ribbon in the right direction so that it actually cinches closed and you're not just tying a knot. And it's not that it's hard. It's
No,
just
you just have to
weird.
have 2 going in opposite
You got to go
directions.
opposite directions, and it's just weird, you know, when you don't do it all the time. So, and then of course, you got lots going on in there, so you got to worm your way around, and lots happening. All right, so
One more button pushing for this
would
color.
you like to push the button this time?
I'm feeling a little left out.
This says next year, and that's in black, and then we're going to switch over to the white, which is going to do an accent on the coal, the word coal itself. And that's going right through the middle of that. I think I watched Sleepy Hollow a long time ago. I don't remember any of it.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, it's...
The last season was awful. Like, I don't know what they did to the last season, but it was, I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons.
Well, I'm on like episode 3 or so. I mean, very early on.
Yeah.
So.
I think I like a lot of movies where there's like a British accent. It just makes it more enjoyable, right?
So I finally had a conversation with my husband since he's been gone for, you know, and then he came home and I was sleeping, and then of course last night he was at work.
Right.
So we did have a nice conversation this morning, and he's like, so I totally didn't understand the fill in the blank part of your test. So I asked everybody at work, had they heard of this show of, you know, a blank room, and nobody knew what it was. And I was like, wait, you asked your dad that question, or you asked the people at work? And he was like, no, at work. I'm like, okay, that's less awkward.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Marilyn asked, yes, we have a special tool that makes it easier to pull the ribbon through. We'll show you. I saw that. Yes, we'll show you.
It's on top of that. Woohoo!
Yeah, we got it. We're on the ball today.
For having no sleep, I'm doing pretty good. Not for lack of trying. I keep going to bed.
I'm stressing because tomorrow we have to make our dining reservations for Disney. And of course, you have to make them 60 days out, because if you've ever been to Disney, you know that they're just going to be full. So if you want to eat at a special place, you have to be up at like, I'm up already, 6 a.m., right, to make those things. So I'm like, where are we going to eat? What's our top 10?
What am I trying for first?
Right? Are there any new restaurants that we haven't done that we really want to be in? I know, right? These super real problems.
I'm sorry, that's what you're stressed out about. I just want to get a good night's sleep.
Right? But that's, of course, I'm dreaming about missing out on. We won't make it. And then I wake up and I'm like, this is so stupid. Why are you stressing over this? It'll be fine.
You'll still eat regardless. Just
right.
Maybe not.
Of course, at Disney, you might not.
Oh, there's always food available. It's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took the bus down to downtown Disney, and
I remember when it was called that.
Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah.
And all right, so I'm switching over to the white thread to do the little detail there. Swimming in black thread now. Okay, Sarah's gonna switch over to white thread, and they have that. Well, they used to. It's been a little while since I've been there. The water.
Yeah.
Things in the middle of the sidewalk. And PJ, gosh, what year was that? He was still pretty young that year. I don't remember what year it was. And he's watching the water. And he's, turned and watching it, and turns and walks straight into a light pole. Every light pole is round, except for the one he walked into was square, and he hit it straight.
Oh.
Bam! Gushed blood everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, it was just like, are you freaking kidding me? And I'm like, all right, so of course, napkins and, we're trying.
Yeah,
so we go to the first aid place.
Yeah.
They won't touch him.
Right.
They're like, nope. So we go to dinner. We get it kind of, and we're like, can we get a bag of ice or something? They're like, no, you have to go to first aid. I'm like, yeah, I tried that. We're like, you can't just give me some ice and, nope. Nobody there would help us. I was like blown away. Yeah. I was like, really? So I'm like, can you give me a Band-Aid? First aid. I'm like, okay. So then we walked back and got a Band-Aid. And so my husband and I were in the hotel room, and we're like, how bad do you think it is? Do you think it needs stitches? And I'm like, I don't think it needs stitches. I'm thinking butterfly. What do you think? What do you think, Dr. Jeff? I'm thinking a butterfly will work. And so I'm sitting there, poor
got
kid.
Red over there?
I do.
All right.
And poor kid, he's just, okay, I'm holding him down and pinching it and just putting the butterfly on.
Too bad you didn't have any super glue.
We didn't have any super glue. But we're like, do we really want to go to an emergency room?
Right.
And not actually need to go
Yeah.
at Disney? You know, and we were like, nah, he's fine. And he is.
Walk it off.
He was fine. So then we started looking. We're like, nope, round, 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 round. They're all round, except for that one. And we're like, really?
Oh.
I mean, that kid. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Right.
So this is the circle detail. Then we have a little piece down here. So we're just gonna push the button again.
And we did not change
I didn't.
our
We
bobbin
probably
thread.
should though. Do you
want-
think? Because it's regular embroidery thread.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a problem at the moment, but let's not ask for problems. Because it wasn't 60 weight black, it was 40 weight black, so.
Ta-da!
The little things. All right. So that is all of the decorative stitching for the front of the bag. So like I was saying earlier, you could certainly, once you have this, play and make this into something else by replacing all of those pieces with some other decorative stitching if you really wanted to. Now we are getting back into the, I can't get that out.
Well, we can do that later.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to go. But
yeah.
it's not, so I'm going to leave it alone. So as we were talking about with Marilyn, these are going to be the ribbon insertion places. So it's literally a buttonhole is what they're going to put up here. So I'm going to do those in red because it's going to give it a nice pop of color, which is what they're recommending. You could, of course, do that in whatever you would like. I don't have any tape up there, so I'm just holding everything to keep that stabilizer nice and hopefully in place, because we want to have a nice buttonhole. We don't want a scrunched up yucky buttonhole. And I have actually seen some that kind of got a little wonky a little bit on a few of these cinch stitch outs. So, but that's literally all these are buttonholes. Pretty ingenious, right?
Every time we make one of these and we are using those bodkins, I think about the experience when we were buying those bodkins that first time. You don't remember we can't have the bodkins? You don't?
No.
Oh my gosh. You blocked it out.
I evidently have blocked that out. It was that bad, huh?
It was that bad, yes.
Was this a
Yes.
Baltimore thing? You'll have to tell me about it because I really don't remember.
Yes. Someone was like, no, we cannot buy them because they're super expensive and we're not going to sit on like a gazillion bodkins. And we were like,
we're not going to sit on them.
What?
These $4.50 things?
What?
All right. So now that all of that has been stitched, we now need to do some weird stuff.
Yes.
So we're going to take and move some fabrics around. So we're going to take and take this guy here and pop it through and push to the back. Right?
Aren't you supposed to cut the ribbon holes first?
Oh, probably. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. All right. I didn't read the instructions. I was just going.
It's okay.
See, that's why I keep her around, guys.
Sometimes I read them.
All right, can you pop me over here?
I can.
All right, so when we are opening up these, I like to put a pin just so that I don't blow through everything that I just did.
Do you want to zoom a little on yourself so they can see
I
that a little
can.
bit better?
Absolutely.
There you go. Well, maybe, and then move there. Perfect.
All right, so I am just taking a standard straight sewing pin and putting it at the top of my buttonhole. All right, literally, that's all I'm doing. And
then using a seam ripper, she is carefully going to cut open the center of each ribbon hole, cutting through both the fabric and the stabilizer.
Sure I am.
Here's one.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. All right, so with a stopper, so that's really all I have made. My bad. There we go. I'm going to stab down, so I'm getting through both pieces. And then I'm going to push up. And I can't go past my pin because that's literally stopping that. But I have already ripped through the place that I need, and I need to repeat on the other side. So again, I'm just placing my seam ripper at the base and then pushing straight up. And again, that pin is keeping me from blowing through my stitch.
Don't go anywhere with your seam ripper yet. It does give you a little tip that says you can put a little fray stop or
in
fray
there.
check there. And then the next thing it says, remove the
that
top
basting
edge
stitch, right?
basting stitch
Yeah.
from the step number 3. So she cut the buttonhole openings, and now she's removing that little basting stitch that we were talking about at the beginning. That's not really a basting stitch, but slightly bigger stitches. So she is pulling that out, and then what she is going to do is she's going to slide the top edge of the front fabric through the cut line in the stabilizer. So we're going to have a little magic here, and that's why we had that hole.
I have played around with not cutting that right away. It's not worth it. In case anybody's wondering that at home.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
You might
All right.
wanna
Zoom out.
just a
Yeah, no, I was
smidge.
just thinking
Yeah.
that. Yep. All right. So I'm removing my pins because I don't, of course, want to. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So I now have openings here, and you certainly can do that fray check, fray stop, whatever fabric glue type stuff. And I am just inserting that through my opening and pulling that all the way to the back. I want to make sure that I have a nice flat piece here. So if my cut isn't quite enough, make it a little bit bigger.
Yep. And it wants her to fold that down to her cut line.
All right, so I want that to lie smoothly. I don't want a big pucker there.
Right.
Because otherwise it's going to bunch when it's stitching, and I don't want that.
Yep. And then tape all corners. It says tape all corners in place.
All right, so now what I'm looking for is that fold right on my, so kind of roll that until you get your fold, your pressed fold there, and then smooth that down.
And then after that, it wants you to tape from the front over your cut line.
Yep. So I'm going to.
So like she's doing all 4 corners. Don't just do the 2 bottom ones.
And I'm doing it so that it's over that, so that there's no foot yuck spot there for it to catch. And then over here, I now have a hole.
Yes.
And I don't want a hole.
Nope.
So I'm going to get a piece of tape that, I'm going to spin this so I can access it a little bit easier. I'm going to make that as nice and tight as I can. And seam that shut.
Yep.
All right, so now it's as solid as I possibly can make it.
Yep. Looks good.
Alrighty.
Then we are going to place that back on the machine, and we are going to stitch the front tack down line. That is step number 17.
I'm just wondering what color thread I want.
Do you want to go to black?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to black. Black it is.
And then it's the ribbon casing, so we can keep black in for that.
Agreed. You can again have pops of color here if you prefer. It just depends on what you're looking for. All right, so it is going to go around here and connect that back piece into position there. I'm looking for number 17. It's not the same on here.
No.
That didn't help me at all.
It's just
like,
color number 17,
yeah, no,
I
but
guess. Yeah.
that is 13 in the first one, and that's why I was like,
yeah.
it's not.
And now it says stitch the ribbon casing. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I think it's going to stitch right through that tape.
Yep,
So
it is. But you want that tape to be there because, again, you don't want the fabric flopping around in there.
Yes.
So leave that there. And this is just going to basically give you that tube to put the ribbon through.
a little bit of bobbin pop-up, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now it says
We're gonna put this little
to
guy on the back of
remove
the
the
hoop.
tape from the front and the back of the hoop.
That was a lot easier than I expected it to be.
Prepared.
All right.
The squirrel was sitting on the car this morning, and the bird was sitting on the window of the car this morning.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
So we drove the truck.
Just let him have it.
Dave was like, "Are you kidding me?"
All right.
So now it says to unfold and place back fabric right side down, aligning the fold with the cut in the stabilizer.
So again, I'm going to spin this so that that is towards me so I can actually see that, because to do that on camera and have it,
It
up
helps
there
when I have
doesn't,
it on the camera.
it doesn't really, so I want to match my fold up with the fold from the front piece. All right.
But she does have that pretty side down, just so you can see, like the right side is facing down.
And I am on the back side of the hoop. Okay, so again, the pressed piece, match your fold, and then open it and tape with that open. And the excess should be going over the top of the hoop. All right?
Are we sure?
Nope.
I think that's supposed to be on the
I
top.
think I'm gonna have to go through I got to spin it and then go back through the piece here.
I think you're taping on the front side, and then it gets placed over the. Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I did this.
Right.
So.
See, that says front of.
Oh, front of hoop.
Yeah.
Why is the handle's on the other side? That's what's throwing me off.
Okay.
I'm looking at that, and it looks like the back of the
side,
hoop.
yes.
Okay, let's take that back. Sorry, guys. The picture shows the handle on the other side. I apologize. I knew what I was doing. I just did it on the wrong side of the hoop. All right. Do exactly what I just did, but on the other side of the hoop. All right. So line up that fold. See, I meant to do that so I could just repeat.
Yes.
You believe me?
Totally. So unfold and place back fabric right side down, aligning the fold with the cut in the stabilizer. And then we're going to stitch the back tack down. Then we remove from the machine, slide the top edge of the back fabric through the cut line in the stabilizer. Turn hoop to the back, pull fabric down until the fold is aligned with the cut line and the bottom edge is a 1/4 inch past the bottom tack down.
Okay. There's this big orange thing that I didn't get to. The hoop in our sample attaches on the right. I missed that part.
Don't pay attention to that. Okay, back to the sewing.
All right, so now this is, again, the back. There's no fusible on here. All right, so pretty side is down, and I have the excess over the top of the hoop.
Mm-hmm. And that top fold is aligned with the opening that was in the stabilizer.
With the opening. So I matched my folds, and then I opened it up. It's been a long time since I did this.
Me too. And every time we do this, my brain does not process how this works.
This is one of those that I kind of went, who came up with this and figured out how to make that work?
Yes.
Even with the cut and the stabilizer,
yes.
My brain went, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now that we have that tacked in place, we're going to take, I'm going to come back over here.
Yep.
We're going to now take this piece and put it through. Turn your hoop over, getting all of my little fabric yucks out of the way so that they're not stitched in. Okay.
And it says, make sure you pull it down so that the bottom edge is a 1/4 inch past the bottom tack down line. So it should be of size appropriate for that.
Right. I'm just getting rid of those because once I do this, I won't be able to get to it.
No, you will not.
All right, so this is, again, now I'm on the back of the hoop, and it just did that tack down for this piece on the front. I've gone through, and I'm now pulling this so that my fold is going through that, and I am getting that nice and tight here. And now I'm going to tape that here.
You got enough tape?
I think so.
Okay.
I am going to tape up here as well because I don't want a loose edge. That rings a bell. All right, back to the machine. All right, so now we have a little stitch that's going to go and then it's going to jump over because we have to remember we need a space for our ribbon there. So there's nothing wrong when it jumps. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay. Excuse me.
countdown.
Right? Do-do-do-do. You sound better than yesterday. Do you feel better?
A little bit. I still feel like I've got a little
Something in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I did start taking my allergy stuff again, so I do feel like that's helping. Dave has a very mild, like, dairy allergy, but of course he loves cheese. So all this week he's been eating stuff with cheese, and he's like dying. And I'm like, do you really want to have like chicken enchiladas because there's cheese in it? Yes, I want chicken enchiladas. Okay.
Yeah, I no longer drink milk.
We do
Because-
drink Lactaid, which doesn't have the lactose in it, which he's okay with. But we don't drink a lot of milk anyways. But of course,
Yeah.
you know,
I
there's dairy
absolutely
and
love
so much everything.
ice cream.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, every once in a while I'll be like, yeah, screw it.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't care.
Yeah.
Still doing what I want to do.
He, of course, says screw it way too often. And I'm always like, are you sure we should be doing this? Like, I'll just eat cheese when I'm not around you because I feel bad eating cheese
Right.
in front of you.
I can handle some cheese, but like just cold drinking, and I
Yeah.
love milk. So, I mean, that's no fun. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, but he's all
Yeah.
snotty because of that. This one or that one?
Let's go over here.
Okay.
So I took the tape off. I can now pop that right out of the hoop. So I'm going to set that hoop aside. And we do not want to cut anything here. So do not do anything with the scissors there. But we're going to go ahead with your standard 1/4 inch around the other 3 sides. So you can use a rotary for this, but I'm nowhere near my rotary station, for lack of a better word for that. So I'm just using my straight edge scissors. All right.
I'm gonna grab another piece of no-show mesh and get set
So
for
Sarah's
the next
getting
one.
the other project ready. All right. So once we have that excess trimmed off, we've got the opening down here. And of course, I'm going to trim those corners. All right. Just gonna get a little bit off of here. All right, so I need to turn this. So through that opening is turn 1. And then they have this little note in there, something about something called hand sewing to make that closed. I don't ever do that. I'm sure you guys are well aware of at this point. All right, so there is the first turn. All right, and this is what that will look like. And then we're going to turn it through here. And push out those corners. So there is the bag. So we've already got our position for those to go through. We have 2 pieces of ribbon. So in your kits, you got a black ribbon and a red ribbon. If you have one of ours, you need to cut that in half. And so you have an approximately 16-inch piece. What you're going to want to do is have one piece going this direction and one piece going this direction. And then when you pull, that's how it all works. So you can certainly use a safety pin if you would like. I like to use a bodkin. I find it to be a lot easier because it gives me something nice and easy to hang on to. The one that has this clip at the bottom is my favorite. We do have these available. It's a set of 2. It's a whole whopping $4.50, which is are you kidding me? We can't buy these? Wait, what? All right, so what you're gonna do is open the clip portion, put it on, and then you slide that down, and then it's on there. So if I am doing the loop this side, then I'm going to come and go around this way. So I'm going to start here, and we've got an opening on the back that you can't see, and you've got your pretty opening on the front that is in your buttonhole. So we're simply going to work your bodkin through. And when I get over here, I don't need to come out, I just need to go around. So I'm going all the way through the back. All right, so again, there is that hole that we left in that stitch out when we attached the backing. So this back piece is open. There's not a casing on the back side, only on the front. So you've got a whole bunch of wiggle space once you make it around into the back. And then you're going to come out through that opening on that other side, just behind your ribbon. I feel like I lost my ribbon. All right. The only thing about this that is hard is that you have that seam in there that you have to kind of wiggle your way around. So once you get over here, you need to just keep pushing the bodkin around until you find that opening. And then it will come through. Yeah, I lost my ribbon. But that's the idea. I knew I pulled too hard. I pulled really hard over here. But then that will come through. Hang on just a second and I'll do it again. Are you getting started?
Yes, but we're good. I have a couple more.
Okay.
Yes. So
all right.
You keep
one more
going.
time. Well, 2 more times because I got 2 ribbons. So tighten that down nice and good so that it's nice and strong. And you want to start it on one side, and then with the other ribbon, you'll start on the other side. Just kind of work it nice and gentle. I was definitely a little rough on the last one. It's trying to go fast, and that never works, does it? What did you say this morning?
The hurrier I go,
the further I get behind.
Yep, and I steal those things. That is definitely how I was feeling this morning.
So I'm back over on this other side, and again, I don't want to come out. I just want to work my way around. So what I had done is I put my hand on the ribbon and pulled, and so I literally pulled it off. I want to hold somewhere that's not on the ribbon. That would be smarter.
That would be smarter.
Yeah. Work smarter.
Not harder.
Not harder. Itchy nose. Got like fuzz of something in there.
Steal those scissors. Okay.
All right. So when I come back over here, I'm going to, again, just kind of keep wiggling until I find the opening behind that seam allowance of that seam, because that's the trick. You got to get the bodkin or your safety pin, whatever it is. Come here, little guy. Sarah's prepping the pieces for our little pet zippered pouch. got it once. You know, if you guys weren't watching me do this, I would have had it done already.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that I was right there and then I lost it again. Son of a gun. Ah! Oh, for crying out loud.
Gonna be one of those days?
Evidently. Even starting it with glitter didn't work.
Oh no. Where did we go wrong?
I don't know. So close. Do. Well, are we having fun yet?
All right. I think pending I can figure out where I just set the instructions that I was looking at.
Over here.
And I did bring the hoop. Okay, so while Lisa is working on that, we are going to put the next design in the machine. So this is done in a two-part section. So part one is basically quilting the backing part of your zippered bag. So I'm gonna change the camera over here for just a second.
It's okay.
So
then I can work in front of me instead of trying to lean
yes,
over. It'd
so
be a little easier.
What I have done here, all right? So I basically just did step one ahead of time, and it should look something like this. And there isn't going to be anything except for like the stabilizer and the batting on the bottom. It should not. There is paper everywhere over here. It should not look like this on one side. Okay, wake up. There we go. This on one side and this on the other side, okay? So it should happen. It should be basically plain on the bottom side. So you will hoop your no-show mesh. You will load the part one, which is pretty easy to tell because the step two has a big line.
The zipper placement
yeah,
line.
so it looks like it's two pieces close together. Then you will basically stitch that with the fabric on top.
Yep.
All right, and then you're gonna take that out of the hoop. The one thing we didn't do was we didn't change the color for the registration marks. And that might be easier for you
to see the line.
To see the line up. When we go to do this, we may have some trouble. So.
All right. So I tightened that down quite a bit, and then I did finally make that out. You do, of course, want to try to keep your ribbon straight, and then you're going to pull till those are even over here. So with no puckers in, you're going to have an even tail on this side. So I'm just going to pull that gently until I have approximately that same amount. Tie a knot so that they can't go through. So these, you don't just literally tie them together so that they don't go anywhere. So I take the bodkin off. I would trim those ends a little bit nicer and then put the two together. And I have one side done, and I'm going to repeat with the other piece coming in this side here, and I'll wrap around, and then I'd have the other piece on that side. So I made it look a lot harder than it actually is. The hard part literally is getting through that seam. It's really not difficult. Make sure that you tighten down on your ribbon, and if you're using a safety pin, don't do right at the end. I also went farther in with the bodkin. Don't do right at the end. It's a lot easier to, go in and get a good bite on there, and you shouldn't have any issues. So again, wrap one going this way and one going that way, and then when you pull, it cinches the bag. While she's sewing, I'll get the other one in, and then we'll be all good.
All right, so we have loaded the design, and what we did was no-show mesh in there, and we did just fold under a little bit on the zipper part, so the ones that say above and below the zipper, you're gonna go ahead and just do a little fold on those. So I'm gonna go ahead and change to, I'm just gonna do everything in this kind of like light aqua color. This is ES442. Wow, there's a lot of extra thread here. So, all right, lock my hoop in place here. So the first thing that it's going to do is it is going to give us a placement line for our batting. And if you did purchase a kit from us, there is plenty of fabric to make both of these, both projects, both cinch sacks and both zippered pouches here. So you don't have to pick and choose which one you want to do. Of course, you probably have lots of fabric in your stash. All right, so this is the batting placement line. We are going to place the batting over top, making sure that we have everything covered. And we are going to stitch. It says to, it is not going to stitch all the way around. There's going to be a little bit of a gap at the top of this. You're going to trim straight across the gap when you are trimming your batting.
You want me to do that? Are you good? I can certainly.
You want to do it?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, so now we need to trim close to the batting edge.
Okay.
And there we go. And then the next thing that it's going to be is the zipper placement.
Okay. So now we've got the rectangle for where the zipper goes.
Yep. And then once we have that, we are going to trim the batting out from the inside of the rectangle so that it will not be underneath our zipper, being very careful that we do not cut through the stabilizer.
All right, so I'm going to go inside.
Mm-hmm. And then you probably should just tape your zipper in place too while you're over there.
Yep. Orange?
Yes.
Zipper head at the mouth?
Or
right?
Center the zipper right side up between the placement lines with the zipper pull at the top.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So here's my top. Here's my zipper. So we're going to get that placed centered. Zipper head at the top of your hoop. My attaches on the left, so that means I'm over here. Man, that screwed me up. All right, so that is going to be pretty much exactly the size of your zipper. So
It says.
do I need to tape over the edge so that the
Yep, it says tape placed at each end of the batting will help the presser foot glide over the zipper teeth when stitching.
So once you have it taped in place, just kind of evenly spaced down. Make sure it's nice and taut so that you don't have a bubble in the middle. And then include the tape over the batting so that, as she said, the foot will ride right over that with no problem. And
stitch the zipper tack down line.
There we are.
Then we will remove the tape and turn the hoop to the back and cut the stabilizer away from inside the zipper tack down. I don't know if Kimberbell ever watches any of these things, but I would really love it if they started that with a basting stitch. I know I have said that more than one time. But you know, that back and forth stitch is tight and it can shift your zipper a little bit, and it would be really nice if you could like
undo that easily.
Yeah, and make your zipper. But I didn't design it, so.
Yeah, they don't ask us.
Oh, I forgot to put it on the thing. I'm so sorry. It's really hard to get good help today. There we go. We did the zipper. It is stitched in place, and now Lisa is gonna.
And I'm gonna go back over there.
Back over there, yes. And I had one job: read the instructions and push the buttons.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and rip the tape at the stitch line. Right?
Yep.
Removing.
Remove.
And pull that out from in there. And then on the back of the hoop, again, I know where my handle is. Crying out loud. I am going to just snip in there somewhere. And then I need to remove the stabilizer just behind the zipper. So I don't want to go past where the project is, only where my project's at. I like to slide my scissors, not, I find that does it say there's like a little stitch line? Am I going all the way to the end of here or to that little guy?
Let's say, turn the hoop, carefully cut away the stabilizer inside the zipper tack down line that is over the zipper.
See
You
that
will,
that little one? Do I go past that one?
you will now see the back of, it does not specifically say.
Should I go past it?
No.
Okay. All right. We now have a rectangle of removed right underneath, not past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
And we're going to go back to, do we have to put fabric in?
Yes, now we are going to turn the hoop to the front, place the above zipper front fabric right side down, aligning one long edge with the right edge of the zipper tape. Fabric should lay to the left of the zipper. So,
Like yay?
I believe so.
All right, so fabric to the left of the zipper, and I'm aligning, this is one she pressed, so yeah?
I didn't mean to press it.
Oh, okay. So I'm aligning the edge with my zipper tape, and it's going to tack that down right along there. You could tape that if you wanted to. I'm just going to wing it. All right. Am I pressing now?
So flip the fabric right side up and press.
All right, so just going to give that a quick press over here so that it is off to the side. And back at the machine. And it will tack that down over top of the batting on the right.
Yep.
And now I'm going to align our second piece. And my fabric will now be going to the right.
Yes.
And my edge is again going to be right along the zipper tape. And that one will be tacked down. Who needs instructions?
Right.
And I'll press that open.
And then it's going to tack it down, and then it's going to quilt it.
Right. How am I going to get that in there without hitting my zipper? This iron's just a little too big.
Yeah.
All right. Okie doke. Tacking down the left side. What's up? All right.
Now we're going to quilt. We're just going to use this color.
Okay.
Yep.
We're going to still quilt with that color. I'm going to start farting with this again.
All right. So then we are turning the hoop to the back, aligning the above zipper lining fabric right side up on the folded edges. So here.
So while that is quilting, I have my second piece here, and I've started on the opposite side. And now I've got this weird ribbon thing in my way. So I'm just pulling the original piece out of the way and then going right behind it. So when you get to that spot, you just keep working around it. No big deal.
It's so cute.
My ribbon's twisted.
The nerve
I know.
might be a little easier with slightly smaller ribbon.
It's all right.
All right, so now what we are going to do is we are going to take this off the machine, and we are going to place the above zipper lining fabric right side up, aligning the folded edge to the left edge of the zipper teeth. Tape the corners in place.
I'm sorry. I have no idea what you just said.
Okay, so this is going on the bottom of the
Oh,
hoop.
in the bottom.
Yep.
This is the
bottom
lining.
lining, yes.
All right. On the...
Left side first. No,
Nope.
right side
This
first.
side.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, with the left edge of the zipper teeth. So that makes sense.
All right. So I am taking our lining fabric, and the fold that she pressed in here, we are covering up basically the stitches as far as you want to go. Make sure that you are leaving room for your zipper head to move back and forth, and rip that right out of your tape dispenser. No choice but to tape when you're working the back. What was that?
One of them didn't have one, so I glued some paper together and I made one. And I'm so proud of it.
As you should be. All right, so that is now taped underneath here. Zipper just doesn't want to go where I want it to be. All right, so now we're going to tack that little guy down.
And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side.
No, for some reason they got underneath the little pod thing, so you didn't see anything.
All right, so that side is tacked down. Now we're going to repeat with the other.
I hope that piece is big enough. The next piece.
Yeah, we should be all right. We'll make it all right, dang it. All right, so on the back of the hoop. Oh, yeah.
Is it wide enough?
Yep.
Okay.
And just as I did get, oh, that was weird.
Right? It's been doing that.
So this is all pulled through there. So again, one is looping to the left and then the other is looping. I've tied the ends together, and then when you pull, it cinches your bag.
Yay.
So that is
Hefty.
right? Super simple. And this is actually super cute if you get a decorative fabric and don't even embellish the bags. They're just great little gift bags.
Yeah.
And if you're not embroidering, they go together super quick.
Yeah. Yeah, you could stitch these up on a regular sewing machine really quick too.
Absolutely.
And cinch those tops.
Yep. So I've made a lot of those. It's just been a hot second, but I've made a whole lot of those. All right. Balance. Make sure that you've got your room for the zipper head to move freely. But close enough that it's going to get caught by that tack down stitch. Nope, that's too close. What are you doing?
I'm dropping things.
Oh, okay.
What does it sound like I'm doing?
Dropping things. All right, so we have that taped in place. And now we're going to work that side. Here we go. I have a right mess over here.
I've got quite the mess myself.
Huh? Well, we're doing good then, huh?
We are doing really good. All right, the next thing that we are going to do is remove the tape, and then we're gonna stitch the loop placement line. I think the, is the ribbon over there? Yep,
Orange?
yep.
All right, so I need to remove that tape.
Can you slide it up just a little? There you go.
So just taking all of that off because everything is tacked into place. I'm not doing any trimming or anything yet. But I don't need anything there. So everything is secured down. We're going to go back to the machine and do a stitch that shows us where to put ribbon.
We came unstitched.
Oh, we did.
Unstitched? We came unstitched. We came unthreaded.
I'm unstitched. I'm unglued. I'm un. You name it, I'm un. All right. One more time.
Yep.
All right. So we are going to want to put our ribbon right on that line. I'm guessing about 1/4 inch past.
They say 1/2 inch, but yes.
Okay. So I don't need to move. We're going to take, you want your loop towards the inside.
Yep.
And
Otherwise
your
it's
raw
gonna be on the
edge to
wrong
go
side.
to the outside. And we are going to tape that over.
It just
Or
says
just-
tape. I would just tape it through. That will at least hold it in place there.
I just didn't know where it was. Are we doing anything else or is it just tack that down?
It's just tacking that down.
All right, so now we're going to tack that in place. All right.
Now these are the registration marks, which I don't know at this point if it makes any sense to change the thread color because we didn't change them on this one. So,
No, it doesn't.
but you can take that off.
I can, yeah, you want to remove the tape so
Yes.
that it's not stuck in there because otherwise it'd be really hard to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have our already quilted back piece. We're going to
You just leave it on. You got to stitch the
let's
registration.
stitch the registration marks and
And then this is going to get placed
and
over
then that's
top
going
of
to
it
go right on top.
after we open our zipper just a smidge.
Yeah, we probably want to do that.
Yeah. So if you did your registration marks in a different color on your first piece and you did the registrations in a different color on this piece, it would be a little bit easier for you to line up. It's a pretty, I think it will be fine because of the shape.
Yeah, you've got some points to easily see where you're going.
Right.
All right, so we have our goldfish. We've got our registration marks. It will just be a goldfish instead of a zippered bag if we don't do this. So you want your zipper pull in the center, and make sure that it's not flopping around in there. And then we are going to align our piece. So I'm going to go ahead over here and see what I can see.
So remember, there shouldn't be, it should not look like this one. You shouldn't have fabric on both sides of that, just as an FYI.
So this, you do not want to have the lining of this piece on here. It should be on the back of here.
Right.
So you'll
and it
want,
will be put on in a minute.
Yep.
The other part of the lining.
Right.
The back of the lining. The back of the,
that's,
the lining.
That's going
the
to be
back of the
part
bag.
of that turn
Yes.
piece. So I am folding that kind of right at that point between the tail and the body. And using that, since I can't really see any registration marks. Really should have done the tape first.
And it really doesn't want you to trim the fabric, so we didn't. You might be able to like gently trim some of that out so it's not quite so big. Then you might have a, you know, more space to tape. But honestly, even if it's not perfect, part of that's going to end up in the seam allowance, so it will be.
So without having registration marks, I lined up that tail
Which is
piece,
pretty easy.
which was really easy. And now I'm literally just walking it forward and making sure that these lines are matching up, and it is right on the money. So I am doing just fine. And now I need to just tape this top section. Don't have much hoop to tape to, but all right. I've got that piece put in.
And make sure that your pieces don't, your corners don't fold up or anything when you slide that on your hoop.
Absolutely. So now we're going to tack down this piece here. Again, make sure that zipper pull is inside. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really cute fish.
Yes.
Oh no.
Did it move around a little?
Well, it's on like the center over there, and it's.
Oh, it'll be fine, I'm sure.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It was right on the money when I was walking it down, but tis what it is.
All right, so now what we are going to do is we are going to turn the hoop to the back,
right?
And then place the back fabric lining right side down, tape the corners in place, and then we have the one final stitch out.
So I'm on the back of the hoop. You want to flip me?
Yes.
So we've got our lining that's going on the front piece. This is the lining for the back. We're just going to put that pretty side down. Make sure that you're covering up the fish in this instance. And we are going to tape down those corners. Again, make sure you're getting your corners. That's not going to work. Because otherwise they do have a tendency to curl over. And then sometimes you just don't get what you're looking for. So don't do these guys, don't do the centers, make sure you're doing your corners. And then we go back for one more stitch out. Tack that in place. Dun, da, da, da.
And this goes around about 3/4 of the way, leaving an opening at the top so that we can turn.
Excuse me. considered not too shabby.
Mm-mm.
All right. So,
Ding.
singing equals done. I'm going to take that tape. All right. Pop that guy out of the hoop. All right, so the scissors.
They can't be far.
The straight ones?
Right, the little purple handle ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only ones I had were the little micro tips.
I guess I'll use these.
Oh, they're at the end. Can you see them?
Yep. All right, so I assume I am doing like a 1/4 inch.
Yep. And
Ish.
you can clip into the curves if you need to for turning.
Just gonna schmooze my way around here.
And this will be one of those kind of double turn things again.
Yep. Aren't they all?
Yep. Well, I mean, if it didn't, then you wouldn't have a finished lining. You know, that's
Right.
really the beauty of it. You would have raw edges someplace if it wasn't really a double turn. So I think this is really cute. I think it would be it should be a little bit larger.
Yeah.
Like if it was larger, it'd be a really great like pencil case. You know, I wouldn't. I love my cats, but we wouldn't put treats in here for them.
Yeah. I totally would get you that.
Right, and they kind of show like putting a like the little doggy poop bags,
The bags.
for the dog bowl one, which is cute, really cute.
Well, my dogs just roam free in the backyard, so I don't use those. All right.
You slide up just a little. There you go. So she's just trimming in there to give the seam a little more
Give.
give.
Because the whole darn thing's a curve.
Mm-hmm.
The zipper's not going to give.
No, it's not, is it?
No. All right, so I've got the lining piece here. Turn number 1. This is a weird shape.
She's got her little turning tool in there to help.
Just trying to gently, that tail piece is not very wide at that point. But I don't want to push too hard.
Dee said she's going to make some for her grandson who loves goldfish, and she's going to use iron-on vinyl on the inside. That'd be a cute snack bag, yeah, for sure.
All right.
I really think you could probably, it's small enough, you could forego the quilting on these too, and they would still be super cute.
Agreed. All right. Turning one done. Now we're going to turn through that zipper. And
Sure you are, right?
do it again. And again, the main part is super quick. It's just that little tail doesn't go quite as fast. I think I could push a little harder on this than that lining one made me nervous. I didn't want to push
Right.
through
I know
on
you
the
never
lining.
know, right? I've blown through my fair share of seams.
Haven't we all?
Push out.
I'm
I mean, like, move your arms out. You're off camera.
not. Get my finger in there again. Maybe leverage out there.
No, you're too far.
I can't make Sarah happy today, guys.
Here you go.
All right, I think that's
Look at how cute that tail is,
which reminds me of that little fishy book.
right?
I'm glad I trimmed all the way around.
No kidding.
All right.
Oh my goodness, it's cute.
Cook my fish.
Cook your fish.
That was magic right there.
That was magic. It's so
Too
cute.
funny.
Look how good it is. Oh my goodness.
So, very adorable.
You're fishy fishy.
He's swimming.
He's swimming. Yeah.
All right. So that is the zippered bag and the cinch bags. Neither of them difficult. A couple of steps, but not hard. And of course, the embroidery is probably the longest part of this one.
Yep.
And the quilting, the longest of this one. So depending upon what your goal is,
Yeah.
it's
Really cute. And when you're doing that first step, just remember, it's just one layer of fabric with
Right,
batting.
no lining.
No lining piece underneath there, and then just quilt it as you would anything else. And don't trim, just trim the stabilizer away. That's the only
Very,
thing you
very
didn't
cute.
see us do, but I think everybody can do that part. That was just, like I said, it's just one piece of fabric, not both. And
Sounds
they're
good.
calling for the lining fabric, or the backing fabric or something, which is kind of confusing. So there you go. But that's it. Yeah.
sounds good.
Sounds good.
All
so
right.
we still
Thanks
have
for hanging out with us.
kits available.
We
if
do.
anybody
if you
needs
are
them.
looking for them, or even if you already have one but think you need more, we have that available.
That's
so,
right.
thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.